Have you ever been told that European vehicles are the worst to work on? No, I'm not working on your Volkswagen. I'm not working on your BMW. I'm not working on your Audi. Is that what your friends tell you? Or, hey man, that's way too expensive. You're going to cost yourself way too much money by buying that European car. You should not get it. Have you ever been told that? Well, in this video, what we're going to talk about is what's the worst kind, like brand, make, model of vehicle to work on from a professional mechanic's perspective. Now, this is a pretty subjective, opinionative, sorry, area of mechanics, because I mean, everybody has their own desires. They have their own likes. They have their own specialties. Like for myself, I love electrical. I love heavy work. So I don't like bouncing between 5 jobs in the same day. I like doing one 40-hour job. I also like doing electrical diagnosis. If I'm in the middle of a 40-hour job, take 2 hours off to diag or do something like that. That I can manage. I love that. And so I know for myself, I want to specialize in EVs coming up. I want to specialize in advanced driver assistance systems. I want to specialize there. But do I specialize in American? Do I specialize in European? Do I specialize in neither? What do I do? So for myself, I guess it comes down to a few different things. I'm in Michigan. I'm in the Rust Belt. So like European cars here, you can really see the difference versus maybe somewhere like Florida or Texas because they don't get much rust. But here, American cars rust out. They rot out like 10, 15 years old. Like I guess a good example is the 2006 to 2010 Chevy Silverados. All of the frames on them and the upper cross member for the gas tank, all of them rot out. And like I've just seen it on at least 4 or 5 trucks where I was just like, hey man, like this is totaled. Your frame is broken in half unless you can take it to somebody that does this kind of work. I don't personally, just because of the liability. But so for myself, where I'm at, American vehicles, they rust out, they seize up, they rot out. You got to use the torch for everything. European vehicles, stuff's a lot tighter. You have to torque it to a tighter spec, but they use superior metal. So like the bolts, the nuts, they don't rust, they don't seize, they get surface rust at most, but they don't get like that inner seizing of the bolt that you have to torch it and fight it out. You just will never add that on a European vehicle. And then secondary on a European vehicle is like they've got a lot more systems and a lot more parts than your American vehicle. Like if you picture American suspension, you got your strut, lower control arm for the most part, and on your trucks you got your strut, upper control arm, lower control arm, right? Well, on Europeans, for the most part, you have 2 lower control arms, 1 tie rod, and 2 upper control arms. And it's really just meant for speed. So it's meant for like high steering stability at a high speed, and it works. Like it's 100%, it works, it's awesome, but it'll take you a lot more time to do control arms. It takes you a lot more time to do this or that. But then on the flip side, they don't rust, they don't seize up. So you put your impact on it and you can just go, go, go. So, I mean, there's gives and takes of everything in this field. So like, I know for myself, one of the mechanics that helped me learn how to do this, he's very good at European vehicles, like amazing. That's what he likes to do. But, like that's why he likes them, is the steering stability, steering capabilities, and all the additional systems. Cause like, for example, the Volkswagen Beetles, they have an auxiliary belt driven water pump. In the motors, like it's a four cylinder. So why do they have that? Just for auxiliary, just so that the car doesn't overheat, so you don't have these engine problems. And almost every single European vehicle is going to have that auxiliary water pump. They're going to have, some of them have the starter buried in the transmission. Some of them have some really weird engineering designs that we in America don't understand because we don't do it that way. It's different. But that comes down to opinion. For me, I don't like it. I don't like working on European vehicles. I don't like all the extra parts. I'm largely inexperienced in it. So it's like whenever I get to a European vehicle, I use that bug example because that was a job a couple weeks ago, but it was like, it sucked. I had no idea what I was looking at, and I had to look everything up, figure out what everything is. And I haven't done that in years since I started this field, so it's a real big step backwards. And I don't know, I definitely want to learn it and get better at them, but as of right now, I just am not efficient at them. I don't make money, and I will definitely rather give them to somebody else. But some guys like them. Some guys have a preferred brand, they have a preferred engine, they have a preferred European or American. And like I said, the guy who helped me learn, he's He loves European and he's great at it. For myself, I prefer Chevy. I gotta be totally honest. They break a lot, but they're cheap to fix and they're easy to fix. You know, the designs, like some of them suck, but for the most part, everything is built to come off. Ford is okay. Ford has a lot of like captured nut, captured bolt designs, captured part designs where, like, let's say this part fails, it's built in such a way that the bolt can't come out or the bolt can't fall out or the nut can't fall out because it's pressed up against the frame or it's pressed up against the gas tank or whatever it is. And they design it that way on purpose. So, I mean, like most people go, oh, engineers are such an idiot. Well, it's just a redundancy in their design so that, you know, it's fail-proof, it's foolproof. But anyway, I don't like that. You know, I would just prefer to have a well-maintained car, to work on a Chevy, to work. I don't mind Fords, but I just don't like. I don't like the extra parts. I don't like them trying to over-design it. And then Dodge is great, but they, like for the Rams, for example, the Hemis push out so much power that putting all that torque and load on your suspension all day, every day, for a daily driver, you just blow through suspension parts over and over and over again. And then Jeep Wranglers, same thing. They're just honestly really unsafe vehicles. They're terrible. After you put a lift on it and do all these upgrades to them and these mods, they have a really chintzy front suspension and they don't hold up great. But back to the first question. What is the worst kind of vehicle to work or fix on? I personally cannot stand Volkswagen, but what I cannot stand even more than Volkswagen is a poorly maintained vehicle. Like if I have to hammer rust out of the way just to get to the bolt and, you know, chip asphalt out of the way just to get to the bolt or whatever it is, then those jobs I hate because I like to just be able to go move fluidly. And, you know, that's part of living in the Rust Belt. That's part of where I live. But those are my least favorite jobs. You know, like, I don't know, it's, if you take a little bit of time and spend a little bit of money on your car maintenance now, it'll save you thousands and thousands in the future. And no matter how much you tell that to somebody, they just can't understand it. And then they're still going to yell at you when you give them a $2,000 quote for everything that's wrong with their vehicle. And I'm like, sorry, Mr. Customer, I told you that this stuff has been going bad and you should have replaced it so that it didn't all go bad at once. But beside the point, that is what it is, and that is how it is. Yeah, anyway, American cars, largely cheaper and easier to fix, in my opinion, as far as engineering and design goes. However, they are harder because they're made poopier. They're made worse. You know, they're made with worse metal. They're made with like fiber, or not fiberglass. Well, a lot of them are made with fiberglass on the outside, but they're made with like thin sheet metal for your body panels, or they're just designed to fail. You know, like we'll say the Kias, for example. They offer such a good warranty on Hyundai and Kia because they know their engine isn't going to make it past 100,000. So that's the only way that they were able to sell their vehicles. But I don't know. I guess if that's the business model, that works for them, you know. But yeah, let me know in the comments what your favorite car to work on, what kind of car you have, and what kind of car you cannot stand working on. Let me know.